Yeah, it's true. There's a shift that happens after the winter solstice, right? We're in that right now. And yeah, here we are during this time of Advent, this time of waiting in the dark, of preparing to give rebirth. I feel myself gestating Mary. I am gestating the Theotokos, the God bearer. I am bearing the God bearer. I will to bear this image of the pure virgin, the Luke Mary, blessed of all women, a pregnant virgin, a refugee, arriving homeless in a country occupied by Rome when Jerusalem was ruled by the imperialistic Roman Empire. What can we learn from her story about her temple training, about her service, about humility, about truth to power, and the tide of those who seek refuge? Having received the descent of the Holy Spirit as a call to destiny, Mary faithfully opens herself. She becomes expectant. And heavy with child, she had to make the long journey with Joseph, her husband, from the lineage of the house of David's son Nathan. Right? So the Holy Family was compelled by the bureaucracy of the dominant powers to travel to Bethlehem so that they could render unto Caesar and be counted in the census. And also, part of the greatest story ever told, we hear of the wise Matthew Mary and her husband Joseph, descended from David's son Solomon, and their young son, the Zarathustra Jesus. This Holy Family had to flee from persecution. Herod was persecuting all the firstborn children. They had to flee to Egypt. They became refugees living in a foreign land, a land where the ancient Hebrews were slaves. But there was a sun worship there. And that's a whole seminar that we won't get into today. But we can we see the parallels with the current crisis in Palestine and other areas of war and persecution? Right? This greatest story ever told, it continues in us. It continues to be told. And will we wake up to these really important subtle parts? So I guess really the question is, how does the Theotokos, the God bearer, live in us today? How can we give her shelter in our world soul? How can we access and nurture that mysterious womb of the world, the realm of the mothers, right? As Goethe shows us in his story of Faust's redemption. And yeah, Meister Eckhart tells us we are all meant to be mothers of God, for God is always needing to be born. I love that. Sophia, Mater Arcana, Veritas Valata. Sophia, the secret mother, the veiled truth. When I was preparing for this fourth week of Advent, I ran across a lecture that Steiner gave to the priests 100 years ago in 1924. I love to look at the parallels between these Jubilee moments. And the lecture is called The Book of Revelation and the Work of the Priest. And it just blew me away, because we learn that before the image of Christ in the Son lived in the human soul, during the middle of the Atlantean era, the priests saw a female being in the Son. The cosmic divine feminine was experienced in the spiritual aura of the Son. The woman clothed with the Son, giving birth to a male child. The same being who later incarnated on earth and went through the mystery of Golgotha. The Sun, as the great mother, a solar deity, giving birth to what was male in her. The birth of what became the higher self, the I, the higher ego of the human being. So how can we unveil the secret truth to transform the Theotokos into our humanness as anthroposophia? How can we be truly embodied through our practice, bringing into focus the essential nature of our unfolding divinity, our higher I, in light of our evolution of consciousness? I think of what the handmaid of the Lord, the Luke Mary, declared. May it come to pass as you have said. May your word be fulfilled upon me. And yeah, as I spoke about in the last 3 Advent musings, if we are awake, this time of preparation leading up to the birth of the light at Christmas is when the human being faces many trials, just like the Holy Family. And only when we have endured can we pass these tests. Then we can enter both the humble stable and the temple of wisdom to give birth to love, our higher I. And now we're in this 4th or last week of Advent, just after the winter solstice. And what does it mean to say that we come to the temple of love and wisdom? Well, if we have sincerely taken up the tasks that laid out in these last 3 weeks, the trial by fire to ground our will, right, as we honor the physical mineral kingdom that supports us, the trial by water to clarify and enlighten our feeling life as we acknowledge the etheric realm and the plant world, and the trial by air to focus and free our thinking as we purify the astral realm, which we share in gratitude with the animal kingdom. Of course, we can't expect to do it all, whatever that means, in 4 Sundays, right? The festival life is cyclical for a reason. There to remind us to tune in to this cosmic tide, to assimilate and add to the cosmic and earthly conversation. It's our task to take that work, do it, and then take it out into the world to shape our year, to apply spiritual wisdom in our lives. We begin to understand the world because the world is our teacher. Sometimes the lessons are hard, and this means that every moment becomes an opportunity for learning something, right? We become awake that in every conversation in every experience, in everything that we take in through our 12 senses, that everything in life is an opportunity for a communion with the spiritual world. And we are called to take heed of what the divine wishes to express through us in the world, so that we can use our gifts with conscious intention. And this is exemplified by the 4th and 5th panels of the foundation stone meditation. This is a great time of year to really work with this, especially in this 100-year jubilee that we are now, that we've had this foundation stone of love planted in our hearts, the great Rosicrucian initiate Rudolf Steiner. So yeah, this light of Christ warms our hearts, it enlightens our heads, so that as we walk in the world, what is founded in our hearts and what we direct with our heads is Christ thinking, feeling, and willing, which in the highest, most exalted sense, we can simply call goodwill. The goodness which we will, freely willing the good into the world for the benefit of others. At the turning point of time, the cosmic spirit light of the world entered the stream of earth existence. Darkness of night had ceased its reign. Day radiant light shone forth in human souls. Light that gives warmth to simple shepherds' hearts. Light that enlightens the wise heads of kings. Light divine, Christ's Son, warm our hearts, enlighten our heads, that good may become. What from our hearts we are founding, what from our heads we direct, with single purpose and focused, willing. Yeah, try speaking it out loud. It's very powerful, very powerful. Yeah. And it really does, it means taking responsibility for our every thought, word, and deed, all the repercussions, both the light and the shadow aspects, to discern what belongs to the self and what is working in opposition to our becoming human, so that we can really apply this knowledge, this wisdom in the right measure at the right time, to know when to speak and when to stay silent. And this is a hard one for me. I'm a shout it to the rooftops kind of gal. But it's all about asking what is needed in this moment. And how can I best serve, using the gifts that I have come to earth to hone and share. So in the 4th week of Advent, we strive to develop the ability to look out from our little self to see our spiritual self in the world, and to look into ourselves to see the world in ourselves. Right? We can't just, it's not out there, it's here. The macrocosm is added to the microcosm. And then we are united with all the 9 angelic hierarchies in preparation for our communion with them during the holy nights. That's a big one. This is the time of preparation for those holy nights. And this 12th week honors the human and angelic realm. And we can remember that the third hierarchy closest to us, the angel, archangel, and archi, they step back at Advent. They step back to allow us to come to them freely during the holy nights. This is part of the testing. We must use our own efforts to rise to meet them in our thinking, to consciously cross the threshold as humble servant to the temple, as the human representative of the earthly world, working in co-creation with the creators. And this season of the dark before the dawn is an auspicious time to connect inwardly to our conscience, as we do at the summer solstice. We can make a backward review. What's working, what's not working. We're listening deeply to what comes up that is in need of healing, atonement, integration. How can we come to wholeness for a fresh new year? So I don't know about you, but I'm sitting with questions. I'm sitting with hope for transformation, for the redemption of my lower self, for the strength to persevere. It's hard. It's hard to sit still. It's hard to wait, to be a silent observer, to be malleable like Mary and open to change, to withstand the insights into parts of ourselves that need purification, those terrifying, those shameful glimpses into our double, which again we can see as a reflection of our present age. So on this fourth Sunday of Advent, we can ask, what can the human being, the anthropos of today, do to recognize and foster our inherent wisdom, the Sophia in us, to access source for our own inner development, for the evolution of the earth, for all humanity, right? Because we know transforming ourselves, we change society, and we are better able to then put the riddles of existence into perspective, right? Reflecting, speaking to our need to relate to the world out of a spiritual, scientific attitude of mind, as well as our basic artistic needs and the need to develop an awakened relationship to the world in complete freedom. So I light the fourth candle of Advent. The fourth light of Advent is the light of humankind, the warmth of love, the light of thought to give, and angel wisdom to find. And so, friends, I leave you with the Christmas verse from Rudolf Steiner's Calendar of the Soul. The spirit child within my soul, I feel freed of enchantment. In heart high gladness, has the holy cosmic word engendered the heavenly fruit of hope, which grows rejoicing into worlds afar, out of my being's godly roots. Thank you, dear friends. Merry Christmas, blessings, and peace.